Give me a hell yeah.
You know what time it is!
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know. Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know.
Do it for Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, it's my favorite show. Do it for Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, big hopes and dreams as we cover our kings. Never cover the kingdom, but we loving our kings. And we covered your prayers as we doing our thing. Big Deuce with the pod, Lil Mo on the screen. Solo or together, still do it for team. Never switch up for $1 or revenue stream. So we always got each other, balance out the beam. Deuce and Mo, and that's the end of the theme song. Do it for Deuce and Mo.
We are live!
Do it for Deuce and Mo.
Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan. Happy Monday night. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. If you're here, you're the hardcore of hardcore. Because your team just lost in Salt Lake City, you're here to hang out because you know, Deuce and Mo, we're going to have a good time. How you doing?
What up, Deuce?
Hey, what's up, my man? How you doing? You good?
Hey, Morgan.
Hi.
I'm rooting for y'all.
Thank you.
Let's go,
Kings.
Oh, a tough one in Salt Lake City tonight. Kings lose to the short-handed Utah Jazz. And those stupid Grizzlies came back.
Ugh, how gross.
It was annoying, too, because at one point, the Kings are trying to make a comeback, and Memphis was down 16. And I'm like, oh, all right, you win this game, and, get some separation from Memphis. No, Memphis rally back. And they get Ja Morant coming up on Wednesday. Tough one tonight, huh?
Yeah.
Tough one tonight.
Yeah. I think obviously perspective of the entire road trip going 3-1. But we're not talking about just the entire road trip right now. We got to talk about this game. And there's just like those little things that were just annoying throughout. Cool comeback. I love to see the way this team is capable of rallying back. But it's just like, these are the ones that you're just like, oh no, why'd you have to lose this one? Especially when you're headed into a tough week. But yeah.
Can I just say, I don't know what it is tonight. You just look really tight. Do we need to put the screen up a little bit? You just look really short. Like we need a booster seat for
Why
you.
don't you lower your chair?
I was in a comfy range, I thought.
Oh, comfy. Why aren't
Yeah, there you go. I just
Wait,
want to see,
did
you. Oh, there we go.
Maybe
you know
it
what?
would-
It's for your WebEx. You got yeah, it's all
Oh.
good. It's all good. I just want to get it all nice. Oh, how are we doing in the chat tonight? I want to get the pulse on how people are feeling. I did put up an early poll question.
Yeah.
And the poll question was this, Morgan. Concerned after this loss? The options, yes, nope, fourth game in 6 nights, and just a little. 63% of the people who voted thus far have said nope, fourth game in 6 nights.
Cool. I love that your questions, how you
Phrase them?
no, not phrase them. I guess how you what is it called? The infliction on
I'm just talking.
Your voice?
You're trying to act like I'm swaying
No,
the people in the polls. By the way,
concerned after this loss? And then you're like, yes, nope, fourth game in the 6 nights. And then just a little.
How are you feeling tonight?
Nope, fourth game in 6
Okay.
nights.
I'm asking how you're feeling.
No,
tonight.
that's how I'm feeling. Oh,
Just
like
in general. Yeah.
Oh, in general?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, we don't need to be that. In general, I'm not good. I haven't been good in a while.
Okay, I'm talking about just physically.
I'm just going to say I'm fluffier than fuck. Like, I'm sorry. I am.
That's a force. That's a force, but it's okay.
How is that a force?
You could just say I'm fluffy.
How is that a force?
It's okay.
Like,
I was just talking about today in general, not necessarily overall how you've been for the last couple of months.
Oh, today? I'm good. You know what, Deuce? What? What?
A couple people saying we're framing out a little bit. How's it look on your end, Morgan? Like there's a little delay. Is the internet? Are we having some internet issues?
Yeah, what do they mean?
We would have internet issues after a game like this, by the way.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's better to have it on a game like this than any other time. All right, everyone's saying no, we're good.
Oh,
Okay.
and by the way, no, I'm good. Sometimes you just
I was saying because you were saying you're cramping. That's why I was asking, and I could tell at this moment you're feeling it a little bit.
Oh, yeah, but it's just sometimes life and but no, I am honestly good. So no complaints. Just need to reel it back in, because you just don't want to. I noticed
I hear you.
myself complaining
Yeah.
a lot
Yes,
lately,
yes,
and I'm like,
yes.
ew, that's not like me.
Yeah.
What's happening? So yeah, I just want to get back on track with everything in life.
Well, let's give some love to the people watching us live right now, Morgan Reagan. Appreciate you guys being here. If you have not yet, the first thing you need to do is hit that thumbs up button, click the like button. It just helps the channel grow. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, too, as we approach 11,000 subs. Appreciate Peg Junk and Ranger and Beam Diddy in the Twitch chat hanging out, too. YouTube people, get those subs up. We want that 11,000 mark. We are up big this month.
I know.
Let's give a little roll call, too. Who is here tonight?
Hell yeah.
Shout out to you guys because you guys are the hardcore of hardcore. What's up, Jason and Lexi in the building? Force goes Fabio, who said, hey, did you block me on the Sacktown Sports one? No, we would never block you,
Never.
man. If someone did over there, I don't know what the hell's going on. What's up, Mod Todd 88? Mark at Zach, Leandro and Boo. Scotty C's in the building. Appreciate Sam for being here in Gavano. We can't forget about Fast Break Pod or Shiesty Manny. What's up, Melissa? Satnam, Super Scion in the building. Hey, Jessica, Gregory, Thor, Steven, Clint in the building. Jets, turn them on. What's up, Steven? Who else is in the building? We got Jay Scott, Jesse, Mary, LD, Brick. Thank you so much. Rob, Bishop, and Bill. Appreciate you being here. What's up, Mary, South Texas in the building? Oh, yes. Bo Wong says locked in babysitting
Ooh.
for the upcoming live show.
Ooh.
Yeah, tickets do go on sale this week. Can I show the live crowd the flyer for it?
Sure, you can show them the flyer.
You guys are the hardcore watching here tonight.
You can see the flyer and then the graphic, whatever you want to call it. And then we'll put this out with the ticket link coming up this week. And I think just from there, it's going to be a grand old time.
Is ours? Hey, come on out. It's going to be a grand old time. Here is the flyer for our first ever live show. It's extremely zoomed in, so this doesn't have the same effect. Yeah, that was really a grand reveal for Deuce.
Oh, no, Deuce. Oh, no.
Oh,
there we
look
go.
at that. Oh, that's a great little poster, huh?
Well, we're trying to, like have that old school music concert vibe because we're in the restroom. So, just trying to tie it all together.
See, that's pretty cool.
The details matter, people.
Details
Let's go.
100% matter.
Lock in the babysitters.
Yeah. We do have limited tickets available, so we should note that. Right? It's gonna be interesting. I hope we don't make people mad if it sells out. And people are like, "Oh, I didn't tell you. What the hell, man?"
Why? No, just get there first, dude.
Okay.
Just get there first.
I just wish we could sell out like 8,000. That'd be crazy.
One day, Deuce. you gotta build and reach those goals one day.
Yeah. Nick wants to let us know that our door was opening. Yeah.
Yes.
That's Carlin the dog coming in. No one's breaking in.
Or ghost.
Lexi says, "Nice hair, Deuce." Oh, and that graphic? Well, this I got a new haircut. Ooh, just wait till I do my hair tomorrow night.
What is that scratch on your arm?
Oh, it's dog.
Oh, just a dog attack.
I play with the dogs.
Oh,
Jesse says, "I need Bojack right now to cheer me up."
Bobo.
Bojack's not here.
Bobo.
But Carlin's here. Give a little Carlin cheer before we start the pod. Let's give Carlin some love. Carlin, make the people feel better. What do you have to say about this loss? Yeah, I agree. That's honestly a good point. I thought Walker Kessler was incredible too tonight, Carlin. Any other thoughts before you go? What about the Celtics? Oh, yeah, you're not concerned. No, okay. Appreciate you, Carlin. Thanks so much for dropping in. Yeah, so we will be having a ticket announcement this week. We're still finalizing the exact timing this week when those tickets will be released, but we will let you guys know ahead of time. Just know tickets on sale this week for our live show coming up Friday, April 14th, 7 p.m., the Russ Room above Solomon's. It's a great venue. We're actually going to go in person, check it out a little more this week.
Yeah, just a final walkthrough on Thursday. So super excited, you guys. Just mark your calendars.
All right, let's do it. Yes, he is named after George Carlin. Good call. Deuce and Mo coming down. 3, 2, 1. Hit my music.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.
Hey, welcome into the Deuce and Mo podcast. Recording this on a Monday night as the Kings wrapped up their road trip against the Utah Jazz. Got off to an ugly start, down by as many as 25 points, but Fox said, "We're not going away lightly." The Kings end up taking their first lead late in the game. It was tied up. The Kings had their chances, but the Utah Jazz making plays down the stretch, playing shorthanded, and they beat the Kings tonight 128-120. The Kings head back to Sacramento, finishing a 4-game road trip at 3-1, and coming up tomorrow night, a showdown with the well-rested Boston Celtics. I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. How you doing, Mo?
I'm pretty good. And I'm not how I thought I would be after this loss.
Wow.
And I say that, let's just say if the game continued the way it started, I would feel a different way. But love seeing a good comeback. They rallied back. A shorthanded Jazz team. So there's still a lot of that, I'm disappointed. But overall, you got to look at this team, how many games they've been playing, 3-1 road trip.
I told you after the Kings last win in Washington, I was a little worried about this game.
Yeah.
But then today you find out Markkanen was going to be out, Clarkson and Sexton out. I'm going, okay, yeah, it's the end of the road trip, but the Kings should take care of business. They came out flat tonight, and that's probably the biggest disappointment is how you come out. One, defensively, pretty much most of the night, especially in that first quarter, I felt like even late in the game, just too many defensive breakdowns. And then offensively, the zone was a theme tonight. Utah played that zone a lot. And that impact on the Kings in that first quarter. Kings held to a season low 19 points in that first quarter, down 40-19 after one. So, yeah, it was an awful start for a Kings team that's trying to end the road trip the right way.
Yeah, and I think, the way that they came out flat, the Utah Jazz came out with a different type of energy.
Fast.
Yeah.
Fast. The pace was so fast to start this game.
Yeah, and I mean they were playing efficient within the pace that they were playing. Just really came out strong. Kind of caught the Kings off guard. I think you could say.
Yeah.
But I mean the reason why I'm not trying to give them all the credit. The Kings also weren't making their shots and everything, but at the same time, that had a lot to do with how the Jazz were coming out, playing physical, playing intense.
The Kings were settling for threes. They were not getting paint touches creating threes.
Well, and they weren't getting the paint touches because of the defense that the Jazz were playing, whether it was in the zone, whether it was just because of their length, obviously, Kessler in the middle. But again, it sucks when you see the Kings not being able to execute against a bigger team, a longer team. And that's what was happening there early on.
Yeah, you mentioned it's not just Walker Kessler with the length. Obviously, he's a big dude. He impacted the game in a major way for the Utah Jazz. Dude, what a steal. Danny Ainge. I mean,
every
come
time.
on, man. I just watched that guy, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. He ends up with 5 blocks. But, Agbaji, who they started tonight, he was outstanding.
Yeah.
He's got good size. Even THT, I know he didn't have his typical night he's been playing lately. His last 5 games, he's been tremendous, but he only played just under 21 minutes tonight. They started Ham with Olynyk. They have some good size out there, and it totally bugged the Kings, especially with what they were throwing at him early.
Yeah, Agbaji, 6'5". I mean, only 22 years
strong,
old. He's strong as hell. And the way that he would go to the basket on the offensive end, it's like he didn't care what was in front of him. He just did. He played fantastic tonight. And you're going to have those nights when there's another player that's just outstanding and there's no way of slowing them down. We've seen this happen before with the Kings. And especially when it's like a player you wouldn't really expect. But I just did not like the way that the Kings came out. I wanted to also use the excuse a little bit of the altitude. I just wanted to be like, no. And when I say that, I'm like, altitude, last game of the road trip, but mostly mentally coming out flat.
Yeah.
I'm just tying in everything. I'm not giving, that's what they lost.
Yeah, well, I felt like that was something that got mentioned a lot tonight on the broadcast too, and I'm just like, for me, I don't care. Like these Kings players are well conditioned. We've been talking about how well conditioned they are. They practice hard. They get after. I'm not denying that maybe they were tired after the road trip. I don't necessarily think it was the altitude. I mean, they still were able to put up 120 points tonight. Okay, you could tell me they're tired, but they got it going.
Yeah,
right.
They pushed through.
It's not like they rolled over. Going back to that first quarter, Morgan, I'm curious to get your perspective because it obviously was a terrible start. I mean, it's 38-16 with 1:43 to go. Sabonis during the timeout was getting after guys. He was pissed off. I mean, he was yelling pretty good, trying to motivate his team, whatever he's trying to do. But at the 1:33 mark, we see a lineup that we have never seen in the history of the Sacramento Kings.
What was it?
It was 38-16 when it's Fox, Dellavedova, Keon Ellis, Trey Lyles, and Chimezie Metu. Now, was this Mike Brown so irritated by the start that he was just like throwing something at the wall? Like, you know what? If you're not going to defend Davion or Monk or TD, Delly, get your ass in there.
Yep.
Keon Ellis, get your ass in there. It was just a weird lineup to me because I felt like it was just a desperate move. It was like, hey, can I get something? I'm going, where's the spacing around De'Aaron Fox?
Well, that's what it was, dude.
I mean, you've got Metu, Delly, Ellis has shot the ball well from 3 in the G League, but
Made
still
that first corner 3.
not a proven 3-point shooter, not a shooter that anyone on the floor is really going to respect in the Utah Jazz. And I just thought like that wasn't Delly's not getting you stops out there.
Right.
It's just not happening. And this is not a pile on Delly thing because you're not going to act like the guy who played literally 3 minutes tonight cost the Kings anything.
No.
But it was also, I think Delly is to the point that you don't need to play him. We could talk about his leadership and what he said to Terrence Davis before that Wizards game and how impactful that was for TD. But in terms of going out there and contributing, I just don't think he has it. He took a really bad 3 during the stretch too. I just thought that lineup was so curious. I'm like, we're this desperate? No, call a timeout, get after your guys, and get them back in there. We don't need to be doing this.
I get it. I get what you're saying, Deuce, but I think at the same time too, like I think he felt like he called a timeout, he got after his guys, and shit still wasn't sticking to the wall, right? Yeah. So he was like, screw everyone. I'm going with this lineup. Who wants to work hard for me? Who wants to get... And sometimes it's not even about working hard. It's just about pushing through mentally and finding a way to get past whatever's in your way, right? And you just couldn't see these guys in that... It didn't matter if it was the starting group, the second unit. You couldn't see them get past things. So who went in? Keon Ellis and Delly at the end of that quarter.
Yeah, I was just disappointed by the start. So you go down at the end of one, 40-18. And you're wondering, okay, are the Kings just going to just absolutely roll over here? Like what's the response going to be from the Sacramento Kings? And in the second quarter, the Jazz go back in the zone. It was clearly causing problems for Sacramento. But then De'Aaron Fox, I thought, got aggressive. He ends up going, I think, on an 11-0 run by himself. Finishes with 14 points, hitting step back threes. He played with an edge, and that's where I credit Fox tonight. I thought Fox was like, you know what? We're playing like shit to start this game. We're not going to roll over here. I don't care. I love that they didn't do the classic thing that some teams do where they get down by 25 points, final game of road trip, they play the next night against a good team and go, we don't have it tonight.
Yeah.
The Kings made this a game. And that's where what I love about this team is they continue to fight. They had a huge lapse in that first quarter. They responded in that second quarter to cut the gap big time, and Fox was tremendous.
Yeah. And when he came out and was playing like that, I know it's pretty obvious to say, oh, that's contagious. Like, you need someone to click and get things going. And we've seen that happen with energy guys coming off the bench. We've seen that with players that just needed to step up. But no, it was your leader. It was one of your star players that stepped up quickly and was like, okay, I'm taking this one. I'm doing this one. And because he's grown to be so efficient with his shooting, with his ability to get into the paint and make the right decision, he did a fantastic job of taking over in that second quarter. And then it started bleeding into the rest of the game.
So at the end of the second quarter, it was 68-52 Utah. Sacramento obviously struggled in that first half, 37% shooting. But HB and Fox combined for 26 points in that second quarter, 26 of the Kings' 33 points on 8 of 9 shooting. So at halftime, in a weird way, I felt like pretty good because I'm like, this was a really ugly start. They're back in this game.
Yeah.
If they can just kind of come out in this third quarter, you know Utah should go down a little bit here, and Sacramento's offense will get them back in the game. And that's what happened in the third quarter. Murray and Fox took over.
Oh.
They combined for 33 points in the quarter. Keegan had 17 in the third.
Dude, Keegan Murray, not only his shot, obviously he was knocking down so many, 6 of 14 from deep, but there was this one play where, man, I don't know why I don't remember who was passing it to him. He was already on the run to the basket, like to go to toward the rim. Someone passing the ball, kind of led him with the ball, and he was just going full force and had an open lane layup, right? And I just love the way that he was aggressively turning corners, going off screens, coming around for the ball to set up his feet quick, boom, get the right shot off. Like, everything just looked so much stronger than usual from Keegan Murray.
And then knocking down some threes obviously helped too. Keegan ends up on the night scoring 22 points. He had 6 rebounds. He was 8 of 16 overall, but hit 6 of 14 from 3-point land in the game.
Yeah.
So that was a good sign for sure.
Yeah, and I said that in the beginning too when I was talking about him, and I was just like, I think when he was making those threes, it wasn't just how open he was, it was how he was making them. Like he was so, his form, his shooting, his technique, like everything just looked completely in rhythm together.
11 threes in the last 2 games for Keegan. So maybe he is going to catch that rookie record.
May-
He's moving up a little bit.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that earlier, and we were saying, okay, he's got to hit like maybe 6 tonight. And we're like, well, he had 5 the other night. Why can't he?
I felt like, too, when you saw the zone, that the Kings did handle the zone better in that third quarter.
Yeah.
The starters did it well, right? Like, they got into it fat. The zone, I can understand why it presents challenges for teams. We've talked about this on Night Chat before. More and more teams are doing this, right? You know, we saw a 1-3-1 tonight from the Utah Jazz, and it presents challenges for sure. But the one thing you can't do is just pass around the perimeter and not attack. Like, someone's got to attack. You got to get in the paint. You got to cut. You got to move the ball. And there were too many times in the first half they weren't doing it. It was much better in that second half, especially to start the third, because what do you know? The Kings got some stops and they were able to push the pace.
Yeah. Yes. And as I get to that really quick, along the zone, along the perimeter, what they were even doing at times, they would attack like a little spot and get the defense to barely collapse and move. There was like no substance to what they were trying to do. They thought that one dribble, getting a defender to take one step in, was going to be enough to get a bounce pass. That's not leaving your next guy open enough. And you're exactly right, Deuce. There were, I believe, 0 fast break points in that first half.
Yeah, only the second time that's happened this season, according to Will Z.
So then, oh, nice. And so then look at what they were doing in that second half. Deflections. They were getting steal. I mean, just a lot more activity happening on the defensive end that was leading to fast breaks, that was leading to other baskets, other opportunities.
Yeah, Sabonis had a couple of deflections. I thought Keegan had some nice defensive moments too tonight that were key. The other fun play in that third quarter was when Fox had the inbound and Walker Kessler had his back to him.
Yep.
Fox throws it off his ass, grabs it, scores it.
So he made it look so easy. That was beautiful. He knew exactly how much room he had at the basket. No one else was sagging down. Just well done, smart move by De'Aaron. And he executed it perfectly.
Then Monk ends up tying the game at 85. Zone comes back in. I thought they started to attack it better. I mean, we go to the third quarter. We go to the fourth quarter, tied up at 95. Sacramento outscored them 43-27 in that third quarter. So obviously the offense was able to give them more. They did better defensively, holding the Jazz under 30 points. And you're like, okay, the game's reset here. You got a game here.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter comes. And it was more of a struggle for Sacramento. I thought tonight the Kings offense wasn't great, but somehow still puts up 120. And it just shows you how lethal this offense could be. 120 points. They shoot 42%, but knocked down 19 three-pointers in the game. They only had 6 turnovers tonight, which is great. Imagine
That's
if they
awesome.
had more. That would have been disastrous. But
Ugly.
they gave up 13 points off those turnovers. So
Transition defense ugly.
that's what I was going to say. Transition defense is really bad. I mean, and I thought Monk and HB got exposed a lot defensively tonight. I mean, it just
They had their
beat,
moments.
Just getting beat.
Yeah.
Monk, Chris Dunn destroyed the Kings tonight.
Yeah.
And I love his story. Chris Dunn, who we called it one of his G League games last year, a guy who's dealt with so many injuries throughout his career. He's back in the NBA. Utah gives him a chance. He comes off the bench tonight, has a season-high 18 points, 10 assists on 7 of 12. And he was just getting his stuff way too easy. He can't be beating guys off the dribble. I mean, he was just being more physical, and it wasn't pretty at all. And then Abaji, who I like a lot, he was getting stuff too easy.
Yeah, like getting into the paint too easy, was just doing but he was super active too. And I think when we talk about this Jazz squad, you see what they've been able to do this season with their youth, with their rebuilding process, and they play their asses off.
Dude, they really, really play hard. And you go, man, you kind of like some of these guys that we have on the roster for sure. Walker Kessler, what a force he was tonight. We haven't talked about Sabonis yet.
Yeah.
Sabonis, 11 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists on 4 of 11, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He was beyond frustrated late in the game with some of the contact he got. And last game, we noticed that it looked like he hurt his right hand at one point, right? So both hands hurt.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it was left hand. Yeah, he has both hands that would
Whatever
be hurt.
hand, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I was wondering if he was feeling it tonight because he seemed very passive in this game. And I don't know if it was passive because Walker Kessler was down there.
Mm-hmm.
But
5 blocks.
He had 5 blocks, another game with 5 blocks. It's just tremendous. And he had a big one late on Sabonis. Then Sabonis came down, got really frustrated, and dunked it super hard to cut it to 3. But yeah, Kessler impacted the game, man. He is such a good rim protector. And for them to go from Gobert, overpaid, aging, you trade him for a buttload of picks, and you get Walker Kessler back in the deal, who's just better than him now. Yeah. What a pickup for them. But I thought Kessler did a great job tonight. And I don't know. I just thought Sabonis was either overthinking him a little bit. I just felt like he wasn't as aggressive.
So we talked about this the other day too when we were like, teams should try to get in Sabonis's head more because you most likely can't because he's very, very strong mentally. But when you do, you really throw him off his game. And I think tonight wasn't one of the worst nights I've seen him, thrown off his game mentally, but he was.
Olynyk can do that to people. Olynyk's a little secret dirty guy.
That, and like you said, with Kessler as well. I mean, it's just frustrating when you can't get yours. And I think in some ways he was like, okay, how can I create for others? When really it was like, shit, Sabonis, they need you to create. They need you to score. But at the same time, maybe he felt like he was going to be forcing it through arms and was going to be forcing something that wasn't there if he was creating. But I would have liked to see him create a little bit more for himself.
Try to get Kessler in the foul trouble. I mean, Walker Kessler tonight had 3 fouls. By the way, Olynyk, his final numbers, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 8 dimes. On 6 of 12, dude.
His outside shot was just, when he was knocking those down.
Well, late on closeouts, too. Sacramento was so late on closeouts. They either close out too hard or they're way late.
That was it. There's so many little mental mistakes, the details tonight that were frustrating even later on, right? Obviously, early on, there was a lot of things that were frustrating, but the little things, getting back in defense, in just their transition D as a whole, and then even Malik Monk missing that technical foul. It wasn't a technical foul free throw. It was the Kelly Olynyk. Thank you.
Foul?
Yes, it was the take foul free throw, and he missed it late, and I'm just like, that doesn't happen much.
Yeah, Monk had a weird night.
Yeah.
Very bizarre night. He wasn't very efficient, but he had that one layup that I don't know how he finished it. I don't get how he did it at all. And then defensively, and it was tough because I thought I was talking to you a little bit before where I'm like, I was surprised they ended the game with Monk. And we should also know Kevin Huerter did not play tonight. We mentioned the Jazz being shorthanded. Kevin Huerter did not play tonight. Lyles did come back. Mm-hmm. He played 25 minutes, but wasn't really his night. I thought I was surprised that they finished with Monk down the stretch. I get it from the standpoint that zone was at play, and I felt like they wanted to have another creator out there, someone who could attack the zone. And, if you have Kessler Edwards, we've talked about this before with the Kings. Like, Mike Brown's trying to have this balance of like, all right, we need offense, but we also need defense. We're struggling with the zone. Kessler Edwards is not going to really attack this zone probably the right way. We need to have Monk out there. Excuse me, but on the other end, I thought the Kings got hurt.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly it. I think they needed his playmaking ability, and his playmaking ability can work magic on his own, right? When you can just get to the open spot, attack the gap, find the man in the dunker spot, or make a great skip pass across the court. You can depend on Malik Monk to make those type of plays on the offensive end, and he still was doing things on that end of the floor, but it just, everyone wasn't together. Everyone wasn't capitalizing. I mean, the one guy that just really you wish could have done something all night long, De'Aaron Fox. Every time he got into the paint and someone just would lose him. And so then Walker Kessler would try to come up a little bit, but then wouldn't fully commit. And De'Aaron knew it every single time and was like, all right, this is my jumper. This is like my little midi. I got this right here. And it's almost impossible to do that all night.
Well, if you're going to struggle with size,
Yeah.
you realize what tomorrow night is. A matchup with the Boston Celtics. Robert Williams returning after his absence. He's been out, 7-8 games for the Boston Celtics.
Al Horford?
Al Horford scheduled to play unless something changes on the injury report. Both teams, by the way, coming off losses to the Utah Jazz.
So annoying.
They have been off since Saturday. A couple other thoughts on this game real fast. De'Aaron Fox finishes with 37 points, 14 of 21 shooting. How about D Fox? 6 of 9 from 3.
Dude.
He has some nasty-ass step backs tonight. I text you at one point during the game. I'm like, he's that dude. He's that dude. Fox is a legit talent. I know it's like, hey, the Kings lose, so you know, sometimes that stuff flies under the radar. No, Fox got them back in this game. He played his ass off.
Yep.
He helped make this a game in that second half where the Kings had a chance to win. And ultimately, they don't get stops. The size bugged them. It's a tough way to lose. I don't know. I mean, 4 games in 6 nights is not easy, but you also have another game tomorrow, which is 5 games in 7 nights. But 4 and 6 is tough. You're not going to win every game. I just thought once they got that lead in the fourth quarter, they can just steal this one. Just steal this one. It sucks that they lost, but overall, I'm not like panicking either.
No. I wanted the steal. Didn't get it. Loved how De'Aaron Fox played. Loved how Keegan Murray played tonight. I just thought it was fantastic from how he was being aggressive. And then you look at Sabonis' stat line and it's almost a triple-double. And you just laugh that we're talking about it the way that we were talking about it. But truly, you could tell, like even with his 9 assists, that something was a little bit more passive with him. And he wasn't going to be the one that was going through Walker Kessler. Like completely everything he did tonight, still great. It's just those moments when you're like, was there something missing from him? Yeah. And then Kessler Edwards, I just want to mention really quick because he was obviously in the starting lineup again, 19 minutes, only 6 points and 1 rebound, 2 assists. So, you didn't get the production you wanted from him, but I also think on the defensive end too, it was like Mike Brown was just getting frustrated and was like, okay, if I don't trust you right now, like I've only seen you for such a short amount of time, I'm not going with it. I'm just not going to deal.
Terrence Davis. 5 minutes in the whole game after what he did last game.
Right.
He was 0 for 4, took some bad shots. They didn't like him. They were settling. He's out. He doesn't play anymore. The bench let him down tonight.
Yeah.
You look at the bench play, Utah versus Sacramento tonight. Chris Dunn gives you 18 and 10. You had, is this right? Oh, man, Azubuike had 13 and 8 on 6 of 6 in 18 minutes, man. Those final numbers. I knew he had an impact on, man, when you look at that, you're damn. So that was tough. And then, Rudy Gay gives him 11. It wasn't efficient, but they got some scoring off the bench where the leading scorer for the Kings off the bench was Monk at 15. No one else really gave him much at all.
Yep.
So
tough one.
Let's give some love to the people watching us live. You guys are hardcore. Appreciate you guys being here after a loss. Make sure if you're here, hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed as we chase 11,000 subs. All right. Thank you so much for the donation. Sam became a member tonight. Appreciate that. Lexi donated $12. You guys do this as a labor of love. Really appreciate you both.
We appreciate you.
It's fun. I mean, we're hanging out talking Kings basketball.
With all of you.
We're growing this small business. It's fun. Trevor, appreciate you becoming a member for 9 months in a row. He says, Kings fans, bring it tomorrow. We got this.
Let's go.
It's going to be a tough one tomorrow. It's going to be really tough.
Well, temperature check. How are you feeling about tomorrow? Temperature check.
Not great.
Okay.
But also, I feel like, let's talk about that in a second.
Oh.
We should mention that tonight's podcast is presented by our buddy Sean Stanfield over at rate.com/Sean Stanfield. If you're looking to buy a house, Sean is your guy. If you have questions about buying a house, can I afford it? Or maybe you're going, should I refinance? Maybe it makes sense for you if you're in a bad rate. I don't know. This guy, Sean Stanfield, huge Kings fan, has all the answers to your questions. He's not trying to push you in. I'm going to get you in a house no matter what. No, he's going to walk you through the process. What did I say? Process. If it makes sense for you, cool, do it. But he is the best person to reach out to. You can hit him up on his website at rate.com/Sean Stanfield. You can also call or text him at 916-276-7563. That's 916-276-7563. Equal housing lender, subject to credit approval. NMLS ID number 349707. Company NMLS ID number 2611. NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Thanks so much to our friends at
Guarantee.
Right.
Guarantee.
Right.
Also, shout to T.R. Reagan Morgan. Your mom writes books.
Girl.
They're thrillers. They're dark. They're twisted. People should read them.
People should read them. Just let everyone know I'm on book number 5 of this, her first thriller series ever, which is a 6-book series. And oh my God, she's about to write another book for Amazon right now.
Ooh.
And I'm like, no. Please just continue this story of this 6-book series that I'm reading right now, because it is so good, you guys. The first one you got to start with is Abducted. Make sure to go to Amazon.com, just search TR Reagan, or go to trreagan.com. You can see all of her books there. Her latest one, obviously, is Such a Beautiful Family. That was a standalone book. But man, her Lizzie Gardner series, it is to die for. I'm not even kidding. Some of the best stuff I've ever read.
Yeah. Dark, twisted, based in Sacramento. Check it out. Appreciate everyone's support. The Deuce and Mo podcast. All right, guys. Next up, the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics, who haven't really been playing great basketball lately.
No.
But they have been off since Saturday after they lost to the Utah Jazz. They are getting Robert Williams back for this game. The latest injury report, I think, just has Peyton Pritchard out at this point. So they are relatively healthy coming into this game. They are 49-23 on the season. They've been a little up and down recently.
Yeah.
They did have a loss to the Houston Rockets. They beat Minnesota on the road. They beat Portland on the road, lost to Utah. This is the final game of a long road trip for them, Morgan. This is the final game of a 6-game road trip. They have been off since Saturday.
So they're obviously a team that knows how to lock down defensively.
Great size with Horford and Williams. We talk about the Kings dealing with size, the defense, the
Jason
lane.
Tatum, Jaylen Brown.
Marcus
Marcus Smart. You got guys that
Smart's
can.
not 100% right now. He says that ankle's bugging.
Good point. So, but you still have obviously the rest of the squad where that is long, can defend, hands in the passing lane. This is one of those teams you got to be sharp. You got to be precise with your passes. Fake a pass to make a pass. All the details, all the things that the Kings didn't do early on in this game against the Jazz tonight. Obviously, they're not only good on the defensive end, what they can do on the offensive end. Jaylen Brown has been on a tear. It's, just a little scary little Tuesday for the Kings at Golden One Center. But
that crowd's going to be into tomorrow. We got to feed off the crowd game. The bench needs to step it up.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those tough games. It's going to get physical. And, I made this point to you, I think, earlier today. I was watching the Bucks play the Raptors last night, and the Bucks were going through the motions, and you just knew that they were going to end up winning the game at home, and they did. And I'm watching the Bucks going, this team's playing completely different than they played in Sacramento. And my point is this: teams are starting to bring it against the Kings. They know coming to Sacramento is a tough place to play. One, the atmosphere is crazy. They all know about the beam. They know that the Kings are way, way improved this year. I expect tomorrow night to be intense. And it's the 5th game in 7 nights for the Kings, but this is what your mindset has to be tomorrow night.
what is that?
Your mindset has to be, we are going balls to the wall, because we don't play again until Friday. So yes, 5 games in 7 nights is hard, and you're getting home late tonight after a long road trip where you just try to come back from 25 down to Utah. But it's a big game.
Yep.
It's the Boston Celtics, defending Eastern Conference champions. It's a good test. You get that win, you're off until Friday.
Dude.
You're off until Friday. And then you get another back-to-back with Phoenix and then the Utah Jazz. But just, you're going to get rest. You're going to get some rest here.
Push through. Do everything you can. Is Kevin Huerter? We don't know, obviously.
No, and he was questionable going into tonight.
Okay.
I would say this. I would be surprised if Huerter played tomorrow. And to be honest, I wouldn't force him back.
Just wait.
I think you wait and see. Get to Friday.
Okay.
Get to Friday.
I'm cool. And I'm cool with that. You just, like you said, you need all your guys to step up and be locked in. I think everyone's capable of stepping up in big ways, but even in the small ways, we need, if you do have to go to Terrence Davis, or let's say Kessler Edwards it's so funny when you do a game with Walker Kessler.
When you have Walker Kessler and Kessler Edwards, you really get tripped up.
Why is that? They're completely different names.
Yeah, the Kessler throws you off. I mean, it's a pretty unique name. It's not like there's a ton of Kesslers walking around.
But I guess in tonight's game, well, with Kessler Edwards, I just think about, obviously, if Kevin Huerter isn't playing, then he's in that starting role again. What can he do differently to be effective in his time? Even if it was the same amount of time that he was playing, but I think his body size, his length, and what he can add on the defensive end is going to be huge in a game like tomorrow. So, like, no quick fouls. Just lock in, be ready to come up big for your squad. De'Aaron Fox, how many minutes did he have to play tonight? He had to play
35, which is not ideal. We said before, remember today with Chris Watkins, Chris Watkins called Matthew Dellavedova the human beam. And if he's in there, that means the Kings are winning. And then I see him enter the game in the first quarter.
I'm like, what do you do?
Just to be clear.
Yeah, Chris, God damn it. But he's not the human beam. And no knock on Matthew Dellavedova, but you really want to see him at the end of the game, because then that's when you know the Kings are up. And I think it wasn't only us that looked at this game and we're going, okay, this should be one of those wins. You felt it even tonight with the way that the Kings came out really flat, just not locked in. You got to have a different mindset tomorrow. And not only because you're on your home floor, it's a second night of a back-to-back. The postseason is coming, and those are the type of teams, the Celtics are the type of teams you're going to be seeing in the postseason.
Could be an NBA Finals preview, right? NBA Finals preview or no?
Whether you're tired.
Well, Celtics aren't getting there.
Whether you're whatever, you got to bring it on a different level.
Kings still have the best record in the NBA after the All-Star break, 11-3 now after tonight's loss. That's the perspective I have tonight. I'm like, yeah, you know what? It sucks that you lost to the shorthanded team. You knew the Jazz were going to play hard, but you wish you had this game. You still come back of a road trip 3-1.
Yep.
It's all right. It's all right. Now you come back home and you gotta compete. And just another thing, we talk about the Sacramento Kings 11-3 after the break. Boston is 7-6 after the All-Star break. They're 13th in offensive rating after the All-Star break, 14th in defensive rating. So they've been very average lately. Now, getting Robert Williams back, I imagine he'll be on some sort of minute restriction. Who knows if the Celtics will rest anyone else? It is the final game of a road trip for them, and they've been off since Saturday, so I'd be surprised. I feel like they'd want to get this one before they head back home for a nice stretch of games against the Pacers and Spurs coming up here for the Boston Celtics.
Yeah. I would imagine that would be the case. So, I mean, just expect a really tough, grind it out kind of game, right?
Yeah, it's going to be tough for sure.
You know what's funny? I don't have a lot of doubts, because every time I do, this Kings team just proves me wrong, and they're like, we don't ever give up. We somehow find freshness in our legs, even when it's like really hard, and it's the second night of a back-to-back. Sometimes we even play better on a second night of back-to-back. So I don't doubt it, but you just feel like, man, if they have to play a game like they did against the Bucks the other night, and it is the second night of back-to-back, it does worry you a little.
We'll see, man.
Okay.
You're back home. It's a new day. You learn from your mistakes.
Sure.
Figure it out. Just don't get embarrassed. Don't get embarrassed. Oh, we should look at the standings now, because Memphis won tonight. Memphis was taking on the Dallas Mavericks. They were shorthanded, obviously. John Morant's coming back to them apparently Wednesday against the Houston Rockets. He was at the game tonight watching on the bench. Memphis was down 16 in this game to the Dallas Mavericks, who were, again, playing without Luka. Kyrie did play. They ended up rallying, come back. They've won 3 in a row, so now they have a 1-game lead on the Sacramento Kings. Kings dropped to the 3rd spot. They are still 5 games ahead of the Phoenix Suns, who are in the 4th spot. And with the win tonight, maybe the Kings were trying to do this on purpose, right? Utah Jazz, they get the win. Lakers on the outside looking in of the plan. Utah's 10.
Ooh.
The Lakers are now a half game back.
Yeah, very interesting. The Lakers, what a weird story. Grizzlies, Mavs tonight. I sent you an IG story.
Oh, my God. This might be a top 5 NBA moment of the season. So after the game, Dillon Brooks and I guess Kyrie Irving. Sometimes you don't know when this is arranged, before the game, right after. Dillon Brooks was trying to do a little jersey exchange with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie took off his jersey and gave it to Dillon Brooks. He did not take Dillon Brooks' jersey back.
Dillon Brooks took off his jersey to give to Kyrie.
Kyrie didn't want it.
Kyrie just
didn't take it.
Dapped him and bounced. And it's what's funny about that too is that earlier in the game there was a moment that Dillon Brooks ended up stepping on Kyrie's ankle, and there's no malicious intent. Like, you could see the replay over and over again.
Was there malicious intent by what Kyrie did?
But that was hilarious.
That is the funniest shit.
Like, the most disrespectful thing ever. When you're trying to give a guy your jersey, like, not even trying to be nice and taken, just throwing it to a kid or something.
He could have totally done that. He could have taken it and handed it to a kid on the way out. No, he goes, I'm good. I mean, honestly, what's he going to do with a Dillon Brooks jersey anyway?
Burn it?
I mean, Kyrie Irving has played against some of the great players. If you're going to do a jersey exchange, you're going to
Do you think these guys keep all the jerseys?
I think some do.
Okay.
The funniest one years ago is I remember when I laughed at this at the time.
What?
I'm just going to be fair. It was a young Kevin Huerter exchanging a jersey with Dwayne Wade in Wade's final year. And you're like, that's kind of funny. But Kevin Huerter's favorite player growing up was Dwayne Wade.
I remember
It's just
making
such a
fun of that.
There was another random one that the Kings did once. Was it like Frank Mason exchanging a jersey with Dwayne Wade or something?
Oh, yeah.
We were making fun of that this year when Dwayne Wade was exchanging jerseys with everyone. I think Frank Mason exchanged. I'm going, you think D-Wade kept that one? You think D-Wade... Yeah, if you're Kyrie, you won a championship, you've got all the best memorabilia possible.
You good.
You're not Dillon Brooks. I'm good.
You good. For the other guys though, I'm curious. Yeah, if I was in that situation and I was even just a role player and I got anyone's jerseys, I think it would be the coolest thing. Except even Dillon Brooks' jersey, I would just be like, yeah, what an asshole. I would just remember it like that. I hated playing against that guy.
Let's get to some people in the chat. People were laughing at the botched jersey exchange tonight. Jordan in the chat says the Kings and their fans have become way too cocky. If playoff time, when everybody clamps down, that historic offense will come down to earth. Your defense is awful, and Utah exposed it tonight. Oh, Jordan, you're just someone from the outside looking in. I mean, the Kings' magic number is 4 games. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be in the top 6. So that's going to happen. I mean, they may have a spot clinched by this weekend. Golden State plays Dallas. If Golden State loses tomorrow night, that goes down to 3. If the Kings win 2, if they somehow beat Boston tomorrow, that goes the magic numbers down to 2. They're going to clinch.
And something else I would say to Jordan about the historic offense will come down to earth. It's funny that the historic offense hasn't come down to earth, and it's what everyone's been saying all season long. And so I understand what you're saying. It's a whole different, I think you're trying to troll, but what I will say to you, just because I can actually talk to humans, is in the postseason, absolutely, it's a whole different basketball game.
We don't know how it's going to go.
You just don't know.
But the other thing is, when he says that Kings fans I don't think Kings fans are cocky at all. I think Kings fans are just I can't believe we're here. I mean, unless if you're in your own social media bubble, maybe your feed is showing cocky Kings fans. I'm sure there are some who exist. If you're coming here and you're a Utah fan, maybe, I don't know who you're a fan of. We like what the Utah Jazz are doing. We're giving them love for the moves that they have made and the direction they're going and how they played tonight, how hard Will Hardy has these guys playing and competing every night. They deserve a lot of love. Hell, they're in the mix right now to be a play-in team. From Sacramento's standpoint, I could speak for us and maybe some people who are in the chat. No one thought the Kings were going to have a chance to maybe win 50 games this year. We're talking about, hey, maybe playing off as 500 be great. Kings fans right now are enjoying the moment. And they do feel like they probably have a chance to win a series.
What I will say too, and if anyone was cocky before tonight's game going into Utah and taking on a shorthanded Utah game, I mean, it's only because they've been playing so well, that's going to be the mindset. That definitely wasn't my mindset, but you can't blame them for having some of those thoughts when half the team is not even playing. But
then he was saying that the Kings' defense is awful too. And look, the Kings have had stretches where their defense is really bad. And I thought you saw that tonight big time where you're what's going on with the Kings? And the one thing I would know, and, the fourth quarter defensive rating is 13th. So it does get better later in the games. And, they've been able to compete and hang with some of the best teams in the league. They really have. The Milwaukee game was great. The Clippers game was great. They've hung with Dallas. They beat Dallas. I mean, the way they are scoring the ball at a historic rate, who knows if that comes down to earth come playoff time, and it might. They didn't handle the zone well tonight, but you would have to think that they'll adjust from that. We'll see. I mean, I guess I'm just not that concerned about it because my thing is if the Kings get into the first round and win a series, that's a amazingly successful year for Sacramento.
Yeah.
Vegas had them at 33 wins. So anyway, Jordan, there's your answer to that question. The defense isn't where it needs to be, but they have shown better signs as of late. That's how I look at it.
I don't think it was a question. I think it was more of a...
Yeah, and we just handled it the right way. A couple of weird things tonight in the NBA. We mentioned the Grizzlies coming back and winning that game against Dallas. That wasn't all tonight. How about the lowest scoring double overtime game you'll see?
What? That was double overtime?
Yeah, Chicago beat the Sixers 109-105 in double overtime. A nice win for the Bulls, who the Kings just beat after that Fox game winner. DeRozan had 25, Levine had 26, Embiid with 37, 16, 3 blocks. Harden had 5 points on 2 of 14.
Ouch.
Including 0 of 6.
When I saw that Levine had 26 points in this win, I was like, wait, why are they pointing out it's 26? Like nowadays, it's everyone has a 67 points.
Right.
So what's happening?
Well, the shooting numbers in this game.
Ooh.
Check this out. The Bulls shot 41%. They were 7 of 33 from 3. The Sixers were 42%. 10 of 36 from 3.
Okay.
I want to bring up one more King stat from the game that
Please.
this just reminded me of. Going back to Kings Jazz, I know we moved on. We talked about Walker Kessler's impact tonight and just their size. The Kings in the paint scored 38 points. They outscored 56, 38 in the paint. Kings in the paint were 19 of 40.
Oh, yeah.
So that was not good.
Nope.
So anyway, Sixers lose in double overtime, only put up 105.
Okay.
Kind of wild stuff. Warriors won. They bounced back against the Rockets 121-108. Not really a surprise there, but give it up. The Golden State Warriors got their 8th road win of the year.
Wow.
What a moment for this group. What a moment for this group.
Little bit of pettiness.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, the other game we got to talk about real fast.
That's the one.
Minnesota, New York. Julius Randle had 26 points in the third. He had 52 points going into the fourth quarter. Unbelievable. Let's also remind you, Minnesota playing without Ant tonight.
Oof.
They end up winning, beating the Knicks 140-134. Julius Randle had 57 points in the game on 19 of 29 shooting, 8 of 14 from 3. But it wasn't enough because the T-Wolves shoot 61%. Taurean Prince, this is the most random 35-point game in history. Taurean Prince had 35 points. He made all 8 of his threes.
Wow.
This is the league. And this is what you admire, dude. I don't love that the Kings lost tonight, obviously.
Sure.
But I like that teams compete. Utah's trying to play for something. They may be shorthanded, but they're like, no, we're trying to be a playing team. We're trying to win games. They won shorthanded tonight. Minnesota, without Ant, Cat could be back soon, whatever. We're not worried about that. We're going to go play tonight. We're going to go try to get this game tonight, a game they should not have won. Being that shorthanded, guys step up. They beat the Knicks tonight.
Yeah.
That's big time shit.
The competitiveness night in, night out for a lot of these teams, whether they're playing for a play-in spot or trying to stay in the playoffs, it's been fun as of late. And I know of course it's fun when you have some high-powered offenses. Guys are scoring a 57-point game from one of the better players in the league. You love to see it, but you're just seeing it spread out for so many different players. Like, think about when people look in on the Kings and they go, whoa, Terrence Davis off the bench had another 30-something point game. Like, it's great that the league has so many different players and even role players that are stepping up in so many big ways.
You're absolutely right. Let's get to some people in the chat. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. But actually, before we get to the chat, it would not be a night chat without someone that I think we have to make up with a little bit here tonight.
Oh,
After last game where he just jumped in the middle of Mike Brown talking, let's check in with Coach Nick. Hi, Coach Nick.
Hi, Deuce and Mo.
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, there's his.
Hell yes.
Congrats.
Your Special Olympics ribbon. For what's that say? Skill, courage, and what else does it say? Move it up. No, not up.
There you go.
Skill, courage.
sharing, enjoy.
Good job, man. We're proud of you. Good job, dude.
4th place. But you know what? I tried my best, but I always play better.
Good job.
No, and you, hey, like you said, trying your best. If you give it your all, that's all that matters. And you still got 4th place. That is amazing, Nick.
I got upset that day, and I called Folsom Hills. I told Folsom Hills that they cheated, and then one of them was pushing and shoving with me, and I didn't like that. I was kind of like, I was upset.
Whoa. So you kind of lost your cool like Sabonis did tonight, huh?
I was crying and upset.
Oh, sorry, Nick.
Nick.
Hey,
But, I wanted to come into 1st place, but, I thought I did my best.
You're
did
a
your best.
competitor.
I like your competitive fire is great, Nick. What about the Kings tonight?
We didn't play really well tonight. We didn't come out strong, but we got to come out good tomorrow. We're playing Boston Celtics. I will be at the game tomorrow. Oh, that means Paul Pierce will be on pregame live at 6:30. You can join me at the pregame live booth you can listen to Paul Pierce talk to. I think is it you tomorrow, Morgan?
No, it's with Kyle. Yeah, Paul Pierce is going to be on set tomorrow. That guy better be wearing a Kings hat. I don't want him in there with his Celtics. Why are we celebrating a Celtics player anyway? Can you ask me that? So Draper and him are going, Celtics this.
Even Kenny,
Celtics
Kenny
that.
asked Draper tonight. Kenny asked Draper tonight. He goes, "Who you rooting on tomorrow?" And he goes, "Kings write my checks." I was like, "Oh, you son of a!" I didn't say it though, Nick. I didn't say it.
He's from Boston.
I know.
Well, guess what? He's in Sacramento now, so he's calling games for the Kings.
I don't want to see Celtic fans inside the arena.
Ooh. So what do you want to see tomorrow night? What's your message to the team? They're gonna be tired, Nick. What do you tell them?
You push the ball tomorrow, and you need to lie to being right in front of the Celtics.
All right.
I like it.
Hey, Nick, why not?
Why not win?
All right.
And also to coming up on Friday,
I know,
to
Nick.
start the Kings
I know.
on Friday at the Golden Center.
I know. You want tickets? I will get you tickets. I promise.
Yes.
All right. That's what you're asking for. All right. Sleep beams, Nick.
Hey, there's no beam tonight.
Oh God. Okay, you're right. Sleep dreams.
There's no beam, Morgan.
Sleep dreams.
Sleep dreams.
That was a good bounce back for Nick. I think we all needed that.
Yeah, I love that guy. My mom was like, I feel like Deuce was being a little mean to Nick the other night. And I was like, no, he was joking.
I was joking. You mean because I call him a son of a bitch?
That and probably just because you're a little bit more edgy lately.
Have I been edgy tonight?
Not at all. You've been great tonight.
I told you. I even said that day. I said I am fragile emotionally and I'm doughy physically. I was definitely feeling it. So, yeah, I think we're all going through stuff. I said we're going to wrap up, but before we go, I think we need to hear from a couple of people.
Oh, yeah.
We have not heard this because they did not carry it post game. We should hear from Mike Brown. What do you think Mike Brown's tone is after a game like tonight? Do you think he's going to go with I'm happy we got back in the game, competed, the fight of the team, or do you think he's going to be upset about how they came out?
I actually think he's going to be upset about how they came out, but okay, hey, 3-1 road trip.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's surprising. Like they beat the Knicks on TNT. He rips them for good reason. And they came out inspired after that. Tonight, he'll probably do like the opposite. Here's Mike Brown. Let's see what he has to say after this Kings loss.
Heck of a game by Will Hardy and the Jazz.
Yeah.
They did what they knew they were supposed to do coming into the game. They played their zone, and it brought us to a standstill in the first quarter. And, obviously after that, our guys finally just started making the simple pass and simple read, and we got great shots the rest of the way. But defensively, we were not good. We weren't physical at all. They kind of got to their spots, got where they wanted, and that helped them start the game feeling really, 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 really comfortable. We couldn't guard the kid, Agbaji. He had his way with us.
Yep.
Even after timeout, 1-point game, he just face cuts us for a layup. His movement was fantastic. The way they set screens was really, really, really good. And you got to give Will Hardy, his staff, and all their young guys a lot of credit because their young guys really, really stepped up for him. I mean, Zabuki was 6 for 6 from the floor. Like I said, Agbaji had 27. Walker Kessler was just a monster in the paint. We couldn't get anything around the rim. So you give them credit. And like I said, I'm not really disappointed in how we played offensively because it took us a little bit of rhythm just to see where and how to attack their zone. I'm just disappointed more than anything else in how we defended, giving up 128 points the way we did. That was disappointing to see.
Yep.
Yeah, Mike, the points in the paint tonight, 56-38. That's something I know you've been watching. Did you feel like tonight was a little bit of a step back in that area?
I thought, and you're going to have steps backwards, but I thought more than anything else, our physicality. I thought our pick and roll defense wasn't great. There was so many times that we either miscommunicated our coverage, didn't hear our coverage. They just rejected and went straight downhill and dunked on us. And our weak side was not good at all. First play of the game, they get a dunk because we're hugged up to our man on the weak side of the floor, and it's goes with the territory. There's a lot we can take from this game and learn from this game, and hopefully we'll be ready to go tomorrow.
Sometimes is it tough when you're playing against a team down 3 starters and nothing to lose?
We've been pretty good with that most of the year, and I told our guys before the game, I said, what, the one thing that Utah's going to do, I said this before the game, I said, their young guys want to prove that they're starters, that they deserve minutes, and they're going to come out with a ton of energy. And I said, we just don't want to get outworked, and we got outworked. So I mean, it is what it is, and hopefully, like I said, we can tighten up a few things and try to go out tomorrow and get a win.
What was your tone in the locker room with the guys? It's the end of a 4-game trip, but you haven't been one to really cut them slack in those kinds of ways. What was your tone? How'd you address the team?
I just walked in the locker room and said, "Bring it in, 1, 2, 3, let's go." That's it. I didn't say anything. And then dapped them up and left.
Hey, Mike, what do you think of the team's communication?
Interesting.
Some
Oh,
people
really?
say-
Really? An ad in the middle of this? That's almost as bad as Nick interrupting Morgan.
Which one's worse?
I'm going to say the ad.
Yeah,
At least
I agree.
Nick provided a funny moment, and I meant to cut it later. Maybe I will, where he goes, "Fire the laser." That was great.
For a drop for our pod.
That was great. Now I feel like, do you want to try to dive in one more time? Let's just see.
a little bit more.
Yeah. Let's see a little more Mike Brown.
If we were better defensively, we wouldn't have. We gave up 40 points in the first quarter. And when you do that, first of all, the 40 points is tough to combat. But
Right.
the way we gave it up, we had no physical presence at all, and they felt extremely comfortable and in rhythm. And anytime you do that to with NBA guys, it's going to be a long night, and it was a long night for us.
De'Aaron at 14 in the second period. You mentioned his communication on defense. Did it feel like he was?
Well, I'm saying communication, just overall, stay in it, keep the ball moving, keep bodies moving. Yeah, but I'm just saying overall, like in timeouts and the huddles and stuff like that, our communication wasn't great in the pick and roll game on the floor. And like I said, we got beat a lot in the pick and roll game where they rejected the screen, and there's no big there because either A, the big called a certain direction and the guard didn't send the ball to the direction, or because he didn't hear, or our big was late getting, I'm not sure, but there were a plethora of mistakes in the pick and roll game that hurt us. There were a lot of mistakes on the weak side that hurt us. We weren't good at all on the weak side. And like I said, it's tough. It's going to be tough to win if you're going to have those mistakes, plus not have a physical presence defensively.
Mike, it appears that Keegan looked off some open shots in the first 2 actions in the first half. In the third quarter, he posted 17 points, shooting 6 of 8. Was there a conversation in just getting him to be more aggressive throughout the game?
Not just him. We had a lot. Just told guys, if you're open, please shoot it. And they just started shooting it when they were open. And there's no conversation need to be had because guys were wide open. And it's just whether or not they wanted to shoot the ball.
When you spend a lot of energy making a comeback like that, does that make it tougher to finish? Because you guys have been good in the clutch all year long. This one is a tough finish.
It makes it tougher. We just the big fella was a monster, Walker Kessler. You got to give him credit. We couldn't get anything at the rim, so we just relied on jumpers. And and the jumpers didn't always fall. But usually in the clutch, we're pretty good defensively, and we were not good defensively in the clutch tonight. And so you got to give them credit for the stuff that they did on both ends of the floor to get the win.
So there's Mike Brown after this Kings loss. So one thing that I was surprised with tonight is and I know I've said this before, and maybe, hey, take a drink every time Deuce says this.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Can we go a little small ball 5 instead of Metu in this situation and get Kessler out? When Sabonis is out of the game, go small ball 5.
Yeah.
And spread the floor 5 out. Let's try to make this guy defend. Get him out of the basket. I'm just trying to come up with different ways that maybe you could have adjusted a bit here. But to the larger point, the defense was the issue again tonight, and that's the reality of it. So.
And that's his point too. Just even the communication of in a pick and roll, and those are the small details that we're talking about. Yeah. I can't hear on the broadcast that they're not talking in their pick and roll coverage, but when they're not executing things, that those details are probably factoring in.
Do you think, Mike Brown said, he just came in and said, let's go team on 3. Let's go 1, 2, 3 team. Do you believe that?
I think he said.
Did he give him the silent treatment tonight? Was he like, you know what? They know what they did. How do you think would you believe what he said?
I'm sure he said something. I mean, because if he came in and was just like, team on 3, 1, 2, 3. I've had that happen before.
Yeah.
And it's the ultimate, oh my God, mom and dad are disappointed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm listening.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on this game?
Nope. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. That's going to do it for us. Appreciate you guys hanging out. We're going to be back live again tomorrow night. Kings and Celtics. We do this again. Kings and Celtics. Will we light the beam? I don't know.
Hopefully.
But we're going to be here to talk about because we're on whether they win or lose. We love you guys so much. Appreciate the support. Hit that thumbs up button. We gots to go.
Thank you so much for being here. And hey, I'm going to say it. Sleep beams.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.